Look, you work hard, you show up, and somehow at the end of the month, there's nothing left. Rent took a bite, groceries took another, and you're starting to wonder if the whole game was rigged from the start. And everywhere you look, somebody else seems to be pulling ahead, buying the house, booking the trips. Here's the quiet thought that keeps you up at night, right? Maybe you already missed your shot. It's too late. You don't earn enough. You're just not the type who gets rich. Honestly, those thoughts feel true. They feel like plain facts. But what if they're the most expensive lie you've ever believed? Because right now, all across this country, regular Canadians on regular paychecks are quietly building real freedom. Not lottery winners, not tech millionaires. People who started exactly where you're sitting. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you why that door you think is locked, it was never actually locked. You've just been handed the wrong story about the key. So before you decide it's hopeless, give me the next few minutes, because the math is about to surprise you, and so are the people who already proved it works.
Hey, I'm Jay. I'm not a suit on Bay Street, and I'm not here to sell you a course. Think of me as the neighbor who's just weirdly good with money and actually wants you to win. On this channel, we take the scary Canadian money stuff taxes, investing, retirement and we make it make sense. Because honestly, nobody ever taught us this in school, right? So here's exactly what you're walking out of this video with. Stick with me because each one of these chips away at that wall we just talked about. First, you'll see why that feeling of being too late is almost always wrong, and I'm proving it with real Canadians, not just theory or vibes. Second, the true story of someone who grew up in real poverty was sure the stock market was a scam and still walked away from full-time work in her 30s. That's coming. Third, the one number that quietly proves the math is on your side. When you see it, I think it changes how you look at your own paycheck. We'll get there. And fourth, the honest truth. No hype, no get-rich-quick nonsense, just what actually works, how long it really takes, and the part most finance channels skip. Quick thing before we roll. This is not financial advice. I don't know your life, your debts, or your situation, so always do your own research. Cool? Cool. And look, you don't need a finance degree to follow this. If you can budget a grocery run at no frills, you've got everything you need to understand what's coming. But before any of that lands, we have to deal with the three lies keeping you stuck. You've heard all of them, you've probably said one this week. Let's take them apart.
Okay, line number one, and it's the big one. It's too late for me. You're 35, 45, 55, and you figure that train left the station years ago. And I get why that feels true. Every headline says start at 20 or you're done. So if you didn't, the math feels hopeless, like you're already too far behind to bother. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The best time to plant the tree was 20 years ago. The second best time? Honestly, it's the moment you finish this video. People start at 50 and still build real security by the time they retire. Not a fantasy. Its math will actually run later in this video. So park the too late story for now. And hey, before you throw your phone across the room going, yeah, right, Jay, stay with me because line number two is the one that's probably costing you the most. Line number two, you need a big income to build wealth. You figure rich people get rich because they make a fortune. So if you don't, why even try, right? But honestly, plenty of high earners are broke. The lifted truck, the cottage they can't really afford, nothing actually saved. And plenty of regular earners quietly build a fortune. It was never mostly about the paycheck. What actually matters is the gap, the space between what you earn and what you spend. A small gap invested for years beats a big paycheck that vanishes every single month. Line number three, you have to be lucky or some kind of genius who picks the right stocks. So you assume the whole thing is rigged for insiders. It isn't. The boring truth is you don't pick winners. You buy a little slice of basically everything and let time do the work. And someone proved exactly that. Let me introduce you to her. Her name is Christy Shen. She grew up in poverty in China and moved to Canada when she was 8 years old. Money was tight, and the stock market, she was sure was a scam. She and her husband Bryce studied engineering and landed solid tech jobs. Like most of us, the dream was simple buy a house. But in Toronto, prices just kept sprinting away from them. So they made a different call. Instead of pouring everything into a down payment they couldn't win, they put their savings into index funds, a little slice of the whole market. And they saved hard. It wasn't a lottery ticket. It wasn't picking the next hot stock, just steady investing year after year. And in their 30s, they had a 7-figure portfolio and walked away from full-time work. Now, real talk, they earned decent tech money, so they had room to save. But here's what matters. The win came from the strategy, not a genius pick. And that part travels to any income. If you just joined, here's where we are. Real Canadians building real freedom. And the next guy makes it even plainer. Meet Bob, who blogs as Talkcan. He's about as boring as it gets, in the best way. Back in 2011, Bob just started. Save steadily, invest consistently, live below his means. No drama, no day trading. Both he and his wife working, spending less than they earned every single year. And it added up to freedom. Not freedom to do nothing, freedom to choose. His whole point, financial independence, is about setting yourself up to be okay, whether you retire early or not. And it's not just them. Think of the nurse who started at 50, the single parent stashing $20 a paycheck, the newcomer who landed here with 2 suitcases. Thousands of Canadians quietly doing the same thing. Different lives, same quiet pattern. Start, stay consistent, let time do the work. Which brings the obvious question, does the math really back this up? Oh, it does. Let me show you the one number. Okay, the math. And don't worry, I'm not going to bury you in equations. This is the simplest, most powerful idea in money. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's called compounding. Compounding is just your money making money. And then that new money makes money too. Like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts tiny, then it gets a little ridiculous near the bottom. Say you invest $300 a month, about $10 a day, and we'll assume 7% a year. That's a reasonable long-run market average, not a promise. Some years up, some down. Give that 30 years. You'd put in 108,000 of your own money, but you'd end up with over $360,000. That's the number I promised you. Look at that split. 108,000 was you. Over 250,000 of it, that was compounding. Money you never worked a single shift for. That's the unfair advantage. Now, here's the Canadian part. Do this inside a TFSA, and every dollar of that growth is yours, tax-free. The CRA doesn't get a cut. Most countries would be drooling over a tool like this. And there's room. If you were eligible since 2009 and never used it, you've got around $109,000 of TFSA space waiting, empty, right now. But here's the catch that should light a fire. Wait 10 years to start, and that same $300 a month gives you $156,000 instead. Waiting cost you over $200,000. And if you're starting late, even $500 a month for 15 years still builds over $150,000. So it works. The only question left is, what do these people actually do? Let's break that down. So, what do Christy, Bob, and all those quiet Canadians actually share? It's not income, it's not luck. It comes down to 4 habits. And honestly, every one of them is a choice you can make too. 1. They started before they felt ready. Most people wait for more money, more knowledge, the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never shows up. The winners just started, messy and all. 2. They automated it. They didn't rely on willpower. The money moved into investments automatically the day they got paid, before rent, before the Loblaws run, before it could quietly disappear. 3. They ignored the noise. Crashes, scary headlines, your buddy's hot crypto tip. They tuned it out and kept investing on the dips when everyone else was panicking and selling. 4. They played the long game. They didn't check the balance every day. They didn't bail when it dipped. They thought in decades, not weekends. Boring? Sure, but boring is what works. And here's the thing. Someone watching this right now is exactly one decision away from their own version of this story. Maybe that someone is you. Honestly, I'm betting it is. None of these are personality traits you're born with. They're skills. You can install every single one of them starting this week. That's the whole secret nobody wants to admit.
Now, I promised you honesty, so before you sprint off to open an account, we need to talk about the part the hype channels skip, the real catch. Stay with me because this matters. Here's the truth a lot of channels won't tell you. Retiring at 30 on one average salary? Honestly, for most people, that's really hard. Maybe not realistic at all, and pretending otherwise is just lying to you. The full early retirement math is brutal for a solo earner. Planners say you'd often need to earn around $140,000 a year and save half your income or more. In a city like Toronto, brutal. But here's what they got wrong about the dream. Freedom was never one giant all or nothing mountain. It's a staircase, and every single step up makes your life noticeably better right now. Step 1, a cushion, so a flat tire isn't a crisis. Step 2, debt gone. Step 3, enough that you could walk away from a job you hate. You don't need the summit to breathe easier. And if you've got a partner, two modest incomes pulling together can hit targets that feel impossible solo. Honestly, that's how a lot of these stories actually happened. Teamwork moves the math. So forget retiring at 30. The real win is simpler. It's options. It's sleeping at night. It's knowing that if everything went sideways tomorrow, you'd be okay. That's freedom you can actually reach. And reaching it always starts the exact same way, with one small step you can take this week. So let me give you that step. No excuses left after this one. Here it is. This week, you open one account, a TFSA at a low-cost place like Simple or Questrade. That's it. You don't even fund it yet. You just open the door. Then set up one automatic transfer, even $50 a paycheck, small enough you won't feel it. Then you buy one broad index fund, the slice of everything, and you let it ride. And remember that door I said was locked? Look closer. There was never a lock keeping you out. There was just a door nobody handed you the key to. Well, now you've got it. This was never about getting rich quick or being the smartest person in the room. It's about quietly, steadily building a life where money stops being the thing that keeps you up at night. You are not too late, you are not too far behind, and you are absolutely not the type of person who can't do this. The proof is everywhere. Now go be part of it. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your province below and where you're starting from. Square one is totally fine. We all start there. And tell me the first step you're taking. If this gave you a little hope, subscribe and stick around. We break down the Canadian money game so you can actually win it. I'm Jay. Go plant your tree. See you next time.